On October 7th, when the people were being, Israelis were being eventually saved, there was a code that they used in order to let them know that the IDF had come and that it wasn't terrorists claiming to be the IDF. What was that code, Nir? What was the code they used to get people out of their homes?
It was the Shema. I think it's the most sacred prayer that we have. It's the one that we put on tefillin every day and that we recite. It's the prayer for Israel. It's the prayer for Am Yisrael. It's the prayer for our salvation and our protection and our homeland. And that is...
So the IDF would come and they would say to the Israeli family, the Jewish family, they would tell them to say Shema, or the Chayal would say the Shema?
So predominantly the first way around, what would happen, we'd have different units that would come to the, rescue hostages in the kibbutzim. And you have buildings, you have houses, and when they would reach these structures, and they would get any type of a sign of life, movement, anything inside, you have to be very discriminatory. You can't just, throw a grenade inside or start to shoot inside for very obvious reasons. We're dealing with a hostage situation and civilians. And you would need a way to identify. Now, why? You have a lot of these civilians didn't want to come out of their homes, even when the IDF had already taken over the area and told them it's safe to do so, because a lot of these terrorists, there were two things here. A lot of these terrorists, these Palestinian terrorists, were Palestinians that these kibbutzim hired to work in there. They gave them jobs. And a lot of these families knew them. They looked out their window and they said, this can't be happening. He was part of our family. We gave him work, and he's here with a gun now trying to kill us. That was one aspect of it. The other aspect is a lot of these terrorists also tried to dress up like IDF soldiers, and the way that they were coaxing civilians out of their mamadim, their bomb shelter rooms, was by telling them that they're the IDF. Come out, the IDF is here. And then they would kill them as soon as the civilians would come out. So there's a lot of trust issues. So on the side of the IDF, a lot of these units, it's even in Gaza today, we have a lot of bait situations that occur. They would try to lure us into buildings and into rooms within buildings where there's ambushes. They would play tape recordings of babies crying, for example, of a voice in Hebrew asking for help. And these would be tape recordings, and there would be a bomb inside the room. So we would hopefully let our guard down and come walking into that room, and then they blow us up. We have at least one incident that I know confirmed. I spoke with a soldier of a baby, a Palestinian baby that was placed in the threshold of a door inside a Hamas-occupied building. So when the soldiers went in, there was a baby lying there on the floor. And the terrorist was inside waiting to ambush the soldiers, with the hope, of course, that they would lower their guns, come in to pick up the baby, expose themselves, and then he would kill them. These were the multitude of things that were thrown into the mix of this whole situation by October 7th. So on the IDF side of things, they had to really discern who they're dealing with. And so what they would do, if there was a sign of life inside a room or inside a structure, a house, they would yell at them to recite the Shema. Not just the words, not just the prayer, but the tone, the accents, and that would help them further decipher what they're dealing with. And then conversely as well, you had a lot of civilians that said, I don't trust you that you're the IDF. Prove it to me. And there was all kinds of situations that occurred. Soldiers reciting the Shema. Let's say the Shema together, okay? I know within our unit as well, we had a little girl who didn't want to come out. She had her phone. And the one soldier from our unit sent her, they exchanged phone numbers so she could FaceTime him. And he was on FaceTime with her, showing her the kibbutz, walking around to other civilians that came out. And he was on FaceTime with her for about 45 minutes before she felt confident to unlock the door. So these are some of the things that both the civilians and the IDF faced in this dynamic.